Welcome everyone, this is Pillar to Post. I am your host Pete Wall, and it is April 29th, 2017. And although there wasn't a lot of news out in the wrestling world today, we do have news. So, what are we going to be covering today? TNA banned Fuck That Owl t-shirt at their live events, and also TV tapings. The New Day is upset they won't be on WWE Great Balls of Fire. Alberto, El Patron, and PAIGE'S father exchange kayfabe tweets to promote upcoming fight. Darren Young talks about coming out and which superstar called him gay. Nikki Bella plans to air her wedding on television. Shane Helms on Impact Wrestling. Another NXT star released. Cody Rhodes reveals creative idea for him for the WWE brand extension if he would have stayed. Matt Hardy says deletion is coming. Naomi talks about nearly missing WrestleMania and her thoughts on Charlotte Flair. The Godfather got in some hot water with his woman at the Hall of Fame speech he delivered. Scott Steiner rips WWE for bad gimmicks, also trashes the WWE for offering him a Legends contract. And we also have rumors of the day. Now, as you know, and as I've said, until I have my new intro music and intro package done, there will be no intro music or intro video after the initial breakdown of what's going to be going on with the show. But before we get going, I would ask everyone that has yet to do so, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and continue to follow what's going on here in Pillar to Post. Also, this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, it will be Shooting from the Hip, and we go live. Yes, we are streaming live on YouTube. So if you haven't caught an episode yet, please make sure that you come during the live broadcast, and that way we can talk with the listeners and viewers in the live chat feed. Now, I'm not exactly sure what we're all going to be discussing yet, but I can promise you that it will get rated R this weekend, because I want to see how far we can push that envelope. Now, we probably won't get any adverts during this episode, but I'm doing this for fun, and I'm doing it as a hobby. So, join me, like I said, at 8 p.m. Sunday for Shooting from the Hip, and I will be joined by Red Rainer from Heavyweight Mark as my co-host. So, let me move on a little bit closer, and let's get into the news. Now, it isn't all the best news, but it is the news I have. So, rumors of the day. Don't expect any surprises at Payback, as WWE is relying on the network as the main selling point to the show. Shinsuke Nakamura is planned for a big babyface push here very soon. Rebby Hardy denied that WWE bought the rights to the broken gimmick for Matt Hardy recently. It's still in the plans for Hardy to use that gimmick in WWE. It's just unclear when. The Ember Moon injury may have actually been legit, as she has been spotted wearing a sling. Tama Tonga was apparently injured at a New Japan show the other day. That is the rumors for April 29th, 2017. Now, we're going to start with the New Day being upset that they won't be able to be on the new Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. And I have to wonder why. Yes, I can imagine all the ball references that could come from this. Vince McMahon experienced some crabs and developed that really bad fiery itch below. And the jokes could go on and on. He dropped his balls on Kevin Dunn's chin, and Kevin Dunn has received a fiery rash from said ball dropping. Like I said, it can go on and on. But the article reads like this. The wrestling world is abuzz with talk of WWE's first ever Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. Coming our way this July from Dallas. Some are laughing, some are fuming. Most are just waiting to hear Braun Strowman use it in a sentence. There's at least one person who's saddened by the news, however. The New Day were just moved over to Tuesday nights in a superstar shakeup, and that means we won't get to see their promos hyping Great Balls of Fire. Imagine the ball jokes we're being deprived of. It's a fact not lost on Big E. And Big E took to Twitter and posted this. Clearly, the most disappointing aspect of no longer being on Raw is knowing I won't be a part of the first annual Great Balls of Fire. The article continues, his man Xavier Woods is hiding his sadness by joining in with those who are goofing on the name. And all Austin Creed had to say was, goodness gracious. Article continues, no word from Kofi Kingston, who is undoubtedly too busy rehabbing his ankle. Your kids aren't going to fight themselves. Now, my thoughts, before I move on, my thoughts on this new pay-per-view. What the fuck, for one, is wrong with the train schedule in my town? Second, what the hell is wrong with Vince McMahon's mind these days? He would be able to sell almost any pay-per-view that was titled King of the Ring. Even Bad Blood was more interesting than Great Balls of Fire. King of the Ring, though, had the most fucking potential. You have one night, one big tournament. You have a main event to go along with it. But the stories could have followed from a King of the Ring tournament. I would have had it done all in one night. You have your pre-matches on Raw. And then you have the tier of who all was able to get into the King of the Ring. You have all those matches from the start all the way to the King crowning on that show. Do it old school. The winner gets his title shot, say, SummerSlam. And then you have at least one match booked for SummerSlam, and you have that whole time for a nice long story build, which we don't get anymore. We don't get a nice long story build. We get these 2-week bullshit fucking storylines that mean nothing. Now, there's a lot of you that, oh, wrestling's fake, who cares? You know what? It is entertainment. So if you're going to entertain, you might as well entertain the proper way and make it interesting. Bad Blood could have been something different, throwback to, the old In Your House days. But, the only pay-per-view that can come to mind is actually King of the Ring to replace. Instead, we get Great Balls of Fire, a title to a song that came out in the 50s. Now, I love old music, and I do like the song. It's been on many a movie. It's been a great, great hit on the music Billboard charts back in the day. But does it need to be a pay-per-view for wrestling? Honestly. Because this guy just doesn't understand it. It doesn't make sense. And we can already go by the title. It's going to be another shit show. So I'm not going to be one of those guys that jumps on board with the new name and is all excited. I'm going to crack a few jokes about it. Just like what's going to happen this weekend on Shooting from the Hip. We have news of the Alexa Bliss nude scenario that's going on right now on the internet. Leaked photos, supposed leaked photos, but they are, for all intents and purposes, fake. I have seen all of them, and you will be seeing them on Shooting from the Hip. At least the funny ones, anyway. Because there are a lot of funny ones. So, that will be coming on Pillar to Post. But this fucking bullshit that they're calling Great Balls of Fire. I don't know. Is someone getting legit kicked in the balls that night? Or is someone going to legit set somebody's balls on fire? Is that why they're titling that? Because if that's happening, Kane kind of has to come back. You know? Throw some lighter fluid on some guy's groin and just fucking throw the match and light him up. You know, that's the only way I can see a pay-per-view being called this bullshit. Moving on. Because that fucking pay-per-view just bothers me. Alberto El Patron and Paige's father exchange kayfabe tweets to promote upcoming fight. And this is written by Brendan Wall. Now, on the heels of the upcoming wedding of Alberto El Patron and Paige, the WAW promotion run by Paige's father has decided to capitalize on it by having Ricky Knight face his future son-in-law in some kind of confrontation over that very reason. And they were having their exchange on Twitter. Now, I guess it's a fan, Anthony Copland, tweeted, at Pride of Mexico, are you going to be wearing your new shirt when you beat at Ricky Knight WAW in 2 weeks at the WAW UK Super Show? Ricky Knight responded, Norwich, Anthony, at Pride of Mexico, at WAW UK. He could not beat an egg, buddy. Alberto El Patron replied, I don't need to beat my eggs. Your daughter does it for me. Now, it might be kayfabe, but, geez, some guy said that to me about one of my daughters. I'd fucking cream him. Now, Ricky Knight responded, you will need everything done for you when I finish with you come May, pal. The confrontation is in question will take place during the WAW's upcoming show in Norwich next month. So, at least it isn't bad Alberto El Patron, the drunk, stumbling, stuttering retard that we've been seeing on Periscope and on Twitter as of late. It's become a little bit ridiculous with the way he's been running his mouth, and it's not going to do him any favors. This at least is scripted, and it is to hype a fight between soon-to-be father-in-law and son-in-law. Now, Darren Young talks about coming out and which superstar called him gay before that happened. In an interview conducted by X-Pac on his podcast, Darren Young talked about when he came out on TMZ nearly 4 years ago. Young talked about how nervous he was regarding that announcement and mentioned that another superstar said his haircut looked gay before he had any idea regarding Darren's sexuality. And these are words straight out of Darren Young's mouth. When I first came up on the roster, I had hair like Enzo Amore. Kind of, it was spiky and stuff like that. So, Mark Henry, you know how he is. He's just sitting there in the locker, and he's like, and this is a couple months on the road, and he's like, boy, and he's long-winded, boy, why you got your hair like that? Again, I can say this story because he's going to be putting this in his book, so I told him, hey, when I have an opportunity to tell the story, I'm going to tell it because I don't want to at first offend him, but he's okay with it. So again, he's sitting there, boy, why you got your hair like that? And Darren Young replied, Mark, I'm just trying to be different. I'm just trying to stand out. Well, you know, it makes you look gay, Mark Henry replied, and this was before I came out, so I'm just stuttering like I am now. Mark, I'm just trying to be different, man, you know? Fast forward to when I came out. The morning I came out, he called me. This was in LA at the hotel. He called me and said, come down to the green room. This was during SummerSlam. I went down to the green room and he gave me the biggest hug and it was like, man, how come you didn't tell me? I was like, Mark, I didn't tell anybody. You know how hard it is for me. Now, why did I bother considering that news? Well, for one, I don't discriminate. I don't. I think it was a good story. I think it showed how courageous Darren Young was when he did come out. And even though it wasn't a comment from Mark Henry that insinuated he was gay, he was just commenting on the hairstyle. I could see that it making a guy like Darren Young kind of stutter and be nervous before he actually did come out to the world and announce that he was gay. Now, we haven't seen Darren Young for quite some time. Is he even with WWE anymore? I haven't done any research on the matter. I don't know. But I've been saying for a while, get Darren Young and Titus O'Neil back together. Let them be the primetime players. Because the tag team, for one, needs these guys. Two, watching Titus O'Neil is just terrible. It is... You need a shot of bleach along with, you know, some really good, really good moonshine just to really fuck you up, you know, just to really get through a Titus O'Neil promo or segment. It just put these guys back together. The tag team division needs them anyway, so why not stop wasting their talents and let them perform for us as a tag team? My opinion. We're going to move on to another unimportant news, but it is news regardless. So, let's go on with it. Nikki Bella plans to air her wedding on TV. So, during an interview with Redbook magazine, Nikki Bella answered some fans' questions, with one in particular about the proposal at WrestleMania 33 and the details on the upcoming nuptials. Nikki mentioned that she would like for her wedding to be aired on TV in some fashion. And she goes on to say, I don't know a wedding date yet. I don't want it to be quick. She said that she wants the wedding to be around a time when they are both not working too much because she doesn't want to go into the wedding being tired. She added, there's a few that I'm looking at, but I'm not going to say which days yet. More than likely, you're going to see it on TV. I'll give you that hint. Of course, many have speculated on whether it would be utilized as a WWE angle or in-ring wedding or simply as a wedding that would be aired on Total Divas. My reaction? Who gives a shit? Really? Who gives a shit? I bring this to you because, like I said at the top of the show, there was not much news out there for today. And what there was, there's a good example. It's, for one, when I got married, I wanted it to be my wife, my immediate family, her immediate family. I didn't give a shit about friends or anyone else. I am a very antisocial human being. I'm friendly to people on the street. I'll say hi to someone, you know, passing by. I will wish them a good day. I'll ask them how their day's going. But when it comes to big crowds, I close up. And there's a few factors in that. I never used to be like that. The accident had a big part to play in that. Second, my personal life, I don't really want to share with that many people. I share it sometimes with you guys on here when I'm having a really bad day and I just can't contain the emotions. But all in all, and we had like, I don't know, 50 people at our wedding. So it wasn't an overly big wedding. And to me, Why? Why do we need to see their wedding on television? I don't want to see it. I don't care about it. Get married, live your life, be fucking happy. But it doesn't need to be broadcast on wrestling television. For one, that's just eating up our time of wrestling. So if you want to have it on Total Divas, go for it, because I don't watch that bullshit to begin with. But please keep it off of the WWE television, like Raw and SmackDown. Please keep it away from there. That's all I ask. Another unimportant news, Shane Helms on Impact Management. I'm going to tell you right now, I grabbed this article because for once someone isn't shitting on TNA. And everyone loves to shit on TNA, and it's good to see that there are some people out there that really don't do it. So Shane Helms on Impact Management, he says Shane Helms was interviewed by Hannibal TV about his thoughts regarding Impact Wrestling's new management. Helms says he's the new kid around the office, so he hasn't had any issues yet. He added that he's an easy guy to work with, so if anyone ever has an issue with him, he would assume it's due to the other person's attitude and not his own. You can see, that's it. That's basically it. But basically, saying he's a new kid here, he doesn't really, mess around too much. So, and he made a little joke, if anyone does have an issue with him, it's got to be their fault, because clearly I'm not a guy that's going to irritate anyone. But that is your unimportant news from Impact Wrestling. Moving on, another NXT star released. It is rumored that NXT prospect Theophilus Egby, I think I got that right, has already been released from the company. It is not known the reason why, but the WWE had him listed as such. Now, there's a little bio here on Egby. At 6'5" and 270 pounds, Egby attended Amherst College, where he wrestled and was named to the NCAA All-American team in 2013 and 2015. Egby graduated from Amherst College with a Bachelor of Arts degree, majoring in French as well as law, jurisprudence, and social thought. In an update on recent releases, 2015 Tough Enough winner Josh Bradle has reportedly not been released. I covered that, but it was in this article. So, Josh Bradle or whatever the fuck his name is still with the company. I really don't have much thought on these releases because I don't know them. So, I just bring you the news that I find. And if I do know anything about it, I'm going to comment on it. And that, if he got cut, he probably wasn't up to WWE standards. So, there you go. Cody, otherwise known as Cody Rhodes, reveals creative idea for him for WWE's brand extension. And one person getting it next. So, Jesus, I better take a drink. So recently, Baby Huey and Bimbo Jimbo from 107.7 The Bone, a San Francisco.ca radio station, I guess, caught up with independent professional wrestler Cody, also known as former WWE superstar Cody Rhodes. Among other things, Rhodes talked about whether WWE's brand extension was a missed opportunity for him. On the subject of WWE's brand split, Rhodes professed that Road Dogg has done a great job with SmackDown Live. The grandson of a plumber shared that there were once plans for him to be Stardust on one show and Cody Rhodes on the other show. And Rhodes says, well, Road Dogg has done a really incredible job with SmackDown Live. Road Dogg has done a really incredible job with SmackDown Live, and at one point, the plan was for me to be Stardust on one brand and Cody Rhodes on another brand. Unfortunately, one person with decision-making authority did not want to go with the idea, and the American Nightmare took his talents to the indies. Now that, he could probably be speaking of Vince McMahon, or the very much hated Kevin Dunn. Who knows? Moving on. Cody Rhodes replies, "Yeah, I thought that was a really great idea. I absolutely wanted to do it, and everybody wanted to do it, except for one person who will remain nameless. But that one person has the main vote, so I didn't want to wait any longer. We could have fought over it, and yeah, it's possible it could have happened, and it would have been really cool, but I was at the point where, man, it's like it was an emotional decision as far as it was going to be snap and had to be done, and I had to get out of there, and I did." I'm happy he actually left. I personally did not like the Stardust character. I thought it was something that was actually decreasing his value with the company. Cody Rhodes is an exceptionally gifted athlete and wrestler. And he's got the skills to talk on the mic. Not as good as his father, but he had the makings of a great promo guy. He also had the makings of a great heavyweight champion within WWE, but was never afforded that opportunity. I've never understood that about Cody Rhodes, why he was never offered that and given that trust to make a run for the title and make a title reign as a champion. Did not make any sense to me. The guy's got charisma, he's got the gift for wrestling, and he can cut a promo. So the only thing I can see is, well, Vince McMahon seen him as too tiny, like he sees a lot of people. Now, some people can overcome that attitude from Vince McMahon. Others seem like they just can't get past that barrier with him. And it's sad because Cody Rhodes, I hope one day does come back to WWE. And I hope that he proves everyone, especially his detractors in WWE, wrong. He's going to make a great WWE champion if he ever decides to come back. But who knows? He probably won't. But then, again, never say never in the wrestling world. I'm going to move on. Matt Hardy says Deletion is coming. And he offers some broken brilliance. As we mentioned this morning, Rebby Sky denied reports that WWE had purchased the rights to the Hardys' broken gimmick from Impact Wrestling. It should be noted that Jeff Hardy denied days before WrestleMania that they were headed to WWE anytime soon. Now, Matt Hardy has been tweeting nearly all of his messages lately in his broken character. As of this writing, Impact Wrestling still has a trademark logo on their YouTube channel next to any phrases pertaining to the gimmick, including Broken Matt, Brother Nero, and Broken Brilliance. Nonetheless, Hardy wrote on Twitter that Deletion is coming. And we're going to go to one of his tweets. And it was a picture of Skarsgård. And if you don't know who Skarsgård is, it is a beat up old pontoon boat or regular boat. Bass boat or something. But he goes, "Oh, Skarsgård, you're golden." And yes, Skarsgård got a paint job. There was more tweets below this, but I did use those tweets yesterday's episode. I did not feel a need to repeat that. We all know it's coming. I just hope it's done in the correct fashion. It needs to be done slowly, patiently, to build up a good storyline. I don't want to see this wasted and ruined like a lot of things happen in WWE as of late. So fans need to be patient. I hate bringing this kind of news to you all the time, but it is top news and they're going to keep on reporting it until it finally happens. So we're going to move on quickly to Naomi and how she nearly missed WrestleMania, as well as her thoughts on Charlotte Flair. But before that, I'm going to grab a drink. Now, it was a big... Wow, that starts off weird. It was as big a WrestleMania moment as they came. Or, let me redo that. It was as big a WrestleMania moment as they come for WWE superstar Naomi when she recaptured the SmackDown Live's Women's Championship on the greatest stage of them all in her home state of Florida earlier this month. However, the 29-year-old now reveals that she could have missed the show altogether. In an interview with Fox Sports, Naomi says that she had to do a lot of convincing to be on the show. She says, yes, it was literally the week before, whether it was a close call, Naomi said, and even then it was still a possibility. I don't know if you want to risk it or give it more time. She continues, I fought and fought and fought and begged. Just had to really get them to trust me. Trust me, I know my body, she says. I can go, I can do this. And it was literally a week before. I for sure thought I wasn't going to make it, she continues. Naomi had initially won the title at the Elimination Chamber in February, but she was forced to immediately relinquish it due to an injury to the left knee. Evidently, it took her some time to come to terms with the nature of the injury. She goes, at that time, I honestly was trying everything in my power not to let anybody know happened, she stated. But realistically, there was no way I could compete and perform. I didn't know how bad it was. I had an MCL sprain, which I got on the finish. So I was just blown away. I was like, there's no way this is happening. Why does stuff like this always happen to me? She continues, I had to just rehab and take care of myself. I'm very blessed and fortunate to even have come back, and for the injury not to be as bad as to where I needed surgery and be out longer. Recently on SmackDown Live, Naomi has been feuding with Charlotte, and both their matches so far have been mostly well received. Talking about her rival, who has switched brands as part of the Superstar shakeup, Naomi had some words of high praise. And she says Charlotte is a phenomenal performer. She's a phenomenal athlete. She has definitely been the most successful female on our roster. And everything she's accomplished is everything that I'm trying to get to. And I'm trying to do. She continues, Charlotte definitely is one hell of a challenge and a great competitor. And I think it was supposed to be her, but they put mer. I think her being against her... What? I think me being against her is only going to bring out the best in me. I'm going to reach my fullest potential being in there because she is one of the best. Now, they went to put me, but they put an R at the end. I'm sorry if I fucked that up. But, it could have been me or her. At that point, I didn't know. I see not too bad of a rivalry coming from this matchup between Charlotte and Naomi, but now they're talking about turning Charlotte Flair babyface. So to me, that doesn't really make sense to have this feud continue. And it kind of pulls it into like a stop kind of, they kind of like hit a brick road with this whole idea of turning Charlotte Flair into a babyface on SmackDown. It doesn't make sense. Yes, she was attacked by 3 other women. Yes, they are all heel. Yes, SmackDown needs another babyface in the women's division. But why Charlotte? Why wouldn't it be like someone else? It just doesn't make sense to me. But it is what it is. She had some kind words for Charlotte Flair. I did appreciate that, even though Charlotte is a robotic talking fuckstick. But, there you go. So, let me clear that off the screen and continue. TNA ban Fuck That Owl t-shirt. Yeah. They did that. So, TNA banned Fuck That Owl t-shirt. A user on Twitter noted to Rebby Hardy that Impact Wrestling warned fans that they would be banned from last week's tapings if they were wearing a Fuck That Owl shirt, as seen below. Now, this was posted today, but the tweet is from April 22nd. And it is from Broken Raya Hope. Let's see. Oh dear, did I get confiscated? What the hell? Did it... Let me see this. Okay, basically, I forgot to grab one of the tweets. Basically, the first tweet says to Rebby Hardy that TNA is banning all fuck that owl t-shirts. And Rebby Hardy replied, oh dear, did it get confiscated? And Brianna and this Raven Bree 22 responded, no. But before people were let in, they did tell people with a very angry voice that anyone wearing hashtag fuck that owl shirts, they will be banned. And Rebby Hardy replied, laugh my ass off, stop. Oh my god. I find this is pretty funny. It, you know, I can kind of understand from a TNA perspective. Why would they want to risk seeing that shirt on the camera? You know, if the camera catches that, yes, they could edit it out. WWE does it all the time. But how bad would it look if you got, like, I don't know, 5,000 people wearing fuck that owl shirts into one of your tapings? It would be pretty disgraceful for them. So I can understand why they would do it, but it is funny. It is. I wish I would have caught that first tweet. I thought I had, but come and go. So, moving on. The Godfather says he was in trouble with his wife over the Hall of Fame speech he delivered. So, let's read what the Godfather had to say. Former WWE Intercontinental Champion, The Godfather was inducted into this year's WWE Hall of Fame after over 25 years in the business. Now, this sounds kind of old. Why would it be dated for today's date? He was not inducted in the Hall of Fame this year, I don't believe. The Godfather spoke to legendary wrestling journalist Bill Apter about the induction. This is very strange. They're talking about... I'm going to read it anyway. I got in trouble, the Godfather says. I forgot to mention my wife. I threw my nephew and grandson in there, and that went so well that I forgot to mention my wife. I'm in a little bit of trouble still, Godfather joked. Godfather said that his wife was a big part of his character and helped him with outfits and even finding him girls for the role. Godfather's wife also showed up and said that being married to him was interesting. It's exciting, actually. Full of surprises, his wife said of being married to the man who portrayed the infamous character. She told Apter that her favorite memory of this or of his career was him actually retiring so he could spend more time at home with her. The Godfather, who has made no secret for his love of adult establishments, said that he met his wife at the club while out with The Undertaker. This is weird. It was dated for today. Now, I find it funny, that's why I brought it up, but it was dated April 29th, 2017. So to me, that's current news. And yet, the intro to this article is throwing me off a little bit. I should have read it again, but fuck it. It's news, right? Scott Steiner rips WWE for bad gimmicks, trashes the WWE for offering him a Legends contract. We all know how Scott Steiner is these days. He's outspoken about a lot of things, but full of shit in most. Former WCW champion Scott Steiner was recently interviewed by What Culture. During the interview, Steiner was very outspoken about his feelings as it pertained to World Wrestling Entertainment and those in control of the company. Steiner was asked if there was a possibility of a Steiner Brothers reunion and mentioned his brother is really busy in real estate and he just opened a new restaurant himself. He also revealed that he's being offered a WWE Legends contract. And he says, WWE offered me a Legends deal. My lawyer looked at it, and it's basically illegal. Steiner said, it's not worth the paper that it's written on, so fuck them. His words, not mine. But I probably would have said the same thing. That's why a lot of guys are leaving, like Rey Mysterio and CM Punk. It's a monopoly, and the product suffers because of it. You have two dumbasses running it in Stephanie and her expletive husband, Triple H. Scott Steiner went on to call the WrestleMania card horseshit. He said that the way that they treat people that make them money is a key factor in why major names have abandoned the company over the last couple of years and a half. Last 2.5 years, he says. Steiner also said that he doesn't like that the WWE saddles talent with bad gimmicks. He goes, how do you get rid of a guy like CM Punk? I'm a friend of Ray's. He sold a hell of a lot of merchandise. It's a monopoly, the only game in town. They want to treat people like shit, and that's why they leave. It's tough to watch. You have a guy coming up, and these jackasses at WWE stamp a bullshit gimmick on him. It's a bunch of shit, Steiner said. When asked about a potential return to WWE, Steiner said it would be financially motivated if he did end up doing it. He said, depends on how big that Brinks truck is that pulls into my driveway. That was the last comment. You know, like I said, it's Scott Steiner, a lot of horse shit, a lot of bullshit comes out of his mouth. I don't know if WWE would want him back. Would he even pass the wellness policy? Like, the guy is roided up to the... He's jacked up like a fucking motherfucker, you know? He's not going to get past a wellness policy. He's not going to get past any drug testing. Frankly, I'm surprised he's still wrestling because he can barely walk. I've seen him in the ring the last time I seen him in. It was pathetic. And to think him back in a WWE ring, I don't even think the offer was given. And if it was, I wouldn't blame WWE for lowballing him with an offer. As for a contract being essentially illegal, how can a contract be essentially illegal? Does not make sense to me. But that's Scott Steiner for you, and I am Pete Wall. And if you stuck it out and enjoyed the video, do me a favor, and I want you to hit those two buttons, the like button, the subscribe button, and remember, this tomorrow, Sunday, 8 p.m., Shoot from the Hip live at 8 p.m. Be there. We're going to have some fucking fun for you. So, like I said, see you tomorrow.